Will the Broncos be able to win the AFC West after their amazing offseason? This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 29th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
The Broncos offseason has gone incredibly well. They picked up some great additions in free agency, and they had a solid draft. But how will they fare against the rest of the AFC West next season? Now, again, the Broncos added some talent in free agency and the draft, but in free agency specifically, they picked up Hufanga, Greenlaw, and unfortunately, Greenlaw had that injury that may keep him sidelined for a couple of games going into the next season, but he should be back. And then they added Evan Ingram, too, a tight end, which it was one of their biggest needs. They didn't really get one in the draft. They got a project later in the draft in the 7th round, a guy who's only played caught 4 passes in college football. And then they went out in the draft and they said, we got to pick up some other studs. They got a cornerback, Jahdae Barron, who's nuts. He's great. He's going to be a very good pick. And I have my, thoughts on why they should have gone with Omari and Hampton. But Jahdae Barron is a great corner, and they're clearly trying to make this defense the best in the league, and it could be the best in the league. And then they added a running back in RJ Harvey and a defensive end in Savion Jones. They've got a lot of studs going out there, which is only going to lead to a better season than we've seen in the past. And believing in Sean Payton, trusting in Sean Payton, which everybody should by now. I've understood that people didn't really like him when he first came in, and that's fair. You got your thoughts against him. Did he really deserve to have that much control over the team? Maybe, maybe not. But now he's proven that he did. He did deserve that much control over the team, because look what he's done. He's improved every single season. And next season, you got to expect greatness, honestly, from him. Now, unfortunately, though, other teams in the AFC had a very good offseason as well. You look at the LA Chargers specifically. They were outstanding in free agency. They picked up Tyler Conklin, Mekhi Blackman, the guard from the Jets, Mike Williams, the receiver from Pittsburgh, Najee Harris, also from Pittsburgh, Dante Jackson, cornerback, Pittsburgh. Then in the draft, they picked up Omari and Hampton. They got that guy that the Broncos could have really succeeded with. And I really feel like that's going to come back to bite the Broncos in the butt. It will. I mean, Omari and Hampton is a bulldog. That guy's going to get out there and he's going to get you yards every single play, forward progress every single play. And they went out and they capitalized on the fact that the Broncos didn't get him, and now they're going to succeed with that. And I'm just seeing success in the Chargers' future. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they're a bit more stagnant. I'm not seeing as much success from the Chiefs in this next season. And again, these are very early predictions. You see the Chiefs every single season. It almost feels like they downgrade, but they keep upgrading. They keep succeeding. And it really makes me so angry. They got a few players such as defensive tackle and Jerry Tillery, Gardner Minshew, cornerback Christian Fulton, and then they re-signed running back Elijah Mitchell. They had some good, movements in free agency that are going to help them succeed next season, but I don't think that they're going to be better than the Broncos or the Chargers even. And then there's the Raiders. Nothing about the Raiders offseason is that special to me. They signed Darnay Holmes, running back Raheem Mostert, safety Jeremy Chin, and then defensive end Malcolm Kuntz. Now, they also picked up Ashton Genty in the first round of the draft, which is a great pick. I mean, Ashton Genty was one of those guys you don't really often see running backs going in the top 10, and he went there in the top 10. He went at the 6th pick, I believe it was. Now, right now, the Chiefs have the best odds to win the AFC West, with the Chargers in second place, and the Broncos are close third. But I'm saying the Broncos are going to be high. I really can see the Broncos winning the division this season. I can. 2025 is the Broncos' year. They've grown every single year. This is Bo Nix's sophomore season. You look at the rebuild that this team was in, and they went to the playoffs in the first year of the rebuild. That's always a great sign. Look what they can do next season. They can be a solid team. I mean, and again, you look around the other teams in the league who had great rebuilds and immediately shot up. Just in recent history, the Houston Texans did it, drafting C.J. Stroud, and then they went to the playoffs. The Washington Commanders this past season went to an NFC championship just because they got Jaden Daniels. Sorry, I'm thinking about basketball right now. Jaden Daniels. Just incredible. And the Broncos did the same thing. They went to the playoffs just because they got that rookie in Bo Nix. And you could say it's because of other trades or other movements and signings that the Broncos made, but really it's because of Bo Nix and also how great the defense was last season. And it's only trending upwards because now this defense has gotten so much better. It's very, very exciting. This is a great time to be a Broncos fan. This is the time. This is the golden age. We're about to see it. we're in 5 years, we could be talking about having 2 more rings in Broncos country. We really could. So get excited because this next season, again, these are very early predictions for where they're going to land, but I can see the Broncos winning the AFC West. It's a Nuggets game day, guys. This is a big, big game. The Nuggets are back at home tonight, taking on the Clippers in Game 5 of the first round. Now, this is a must-win game. If the Nuggets lose here tonight, there's a very high chance that they get eliminated in LA on Thursday. Now, they're coming into this game off the back of that 101-99 win that ended with an Aaron Gordon buzzer beater. Just incredible. The buzzer beater that was, but the collapse that they had in the fourth quarter, they need to do everything that they can to hold a lead. And this is the thing that we've grown used to with the Denver Nuggets. They get this big lead and they just get squandered towards the end. I mean, and that goes back so much longer, but just one topic to bring up where that was very evident was last year in Game 7 against the Timberwolves in the second round, a 20-point lead, and then they blew it in the fourth quarter. In the Game 7, the Nuggets need to avoid doing that. They almost did it on Saturday. They really did. They almost blew a 20-point lead, but thankfully Aaron Gordon got that ball out of his hands just in time. Now, the Nuggets are heading into tonight's game as 1-point underdogs, and tip-off is at 8 p.m., and they are back at home, and they need to get a win in front of this home crowd to prove that Denver is still the best home court advantage in the league. Now, moving on, the Avalanche fell to the Dallas Stars in Game 5 in a heartbreaking fashion. The Avs were back in Dallas last night, and they're heading back home after a 6-2 loss in Game 5. Now, Game 5s are always a must-win. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're down 3-1, if it's tied up 2-2, if you're up 3-1, Game 5s are a must-win. And clearly, the Stars knew that. They came out of the gates swinging, scoring their first goal only 9 seconds into the game. Now, they went up 3-0 before the Avs were able to score once, and it looked like it might be all the Avs needed to get hot, as Nathan Mackinnon scored only 2 minutes after that first to make the score 3-2, 3/4 of the way through the second period. That's a lot of numbers that I'm throwing at you, but basically 3/4 of the way through the second period, the score was 3-2, Stars in the lead. It looked like it was going to be a close game, but the Stars were not done. They scored 2 more before the second period ended and then added another in the third, while the Avs didn't score any more in the third period to finish the game 6-2. And it really is unfortunate that Mackenzie Blackwood's worst performance of the playoffs and arguably the season came in Game 5 of the first round. That was a must-win game, and honestly, a lot of this is going to fall on Mackenzie Blackwood. He allowed 5 goals while saving only 13, recording a .722 save percentage. He was eventually subbed out for Scott Wedgwood, who came in and saved all 8 shots on goal, and then they ended up pulling the goalie, and the last goal was an empty netter. They needed to get that win. I don't know how many more times I can say it. It was a must-win game, and unfortunately, it just didn't go the way the Avs wanted it. Now the Avs, though, are in a very deep hole, and it's going to be very hard to dig out of. They need to, though. They're down 3-2 in this series, and they need to get a win at home on Thursday if they want to keep their Stanley Cup hopes alive. They're looking like they're starting to dwindle, and I could be saying the same thing about the Nuggets tomorrow if they lose this game. But again, Game 5s, you need to get out there and get a win. This is the most important game of any series. Game 5 is always the most important game. It doesn't matter what side of it you're on. If you're up 3-1, down 3-1, tied 2-2, you need to get a win. Every Game 5 matters more than every other game. Now, that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. I got to give the Broncos the benefit of the doubt on the draft honor draft picks and what we've done for the undrafted free agents. Pretty good. Yeah, overall, they've had a very good offseason. And, going into this next season, they're hungry. That's the one thing. This is a young, hungry team, and they've got a lot of great pieces that they've added specifically to the defense. I just want to single out the defense there. They look stout. I mean, this defense is nuts. I cannot wait to see how they go out there. I'm very excited to see how Jade Barron plays because this guy was a stud at Texas, and he's just going to come into this league. He was projected to go top 10, and then the Broncos ended up getting him at 20, so that's why it doesn't sting as much, seeing that we didn't get Omari and Hampton. As much as it would have helped the Broncos, Jade Barron was a very good pick. Let's see. Broncos stole the draft and will win their division. Go Broncos country. Only go Bo Nix for 6. Broncos stole the draft. That's something I do want to point out. I like some of their picks, but I feel like they kind of I don't know if they stole the draft. I feel like they kind of rushed some of their picks. They had some good chances to get some great running backs even later in the second round. And I get that RJ Harvey is a great player, but they could have gone in different directions, especially with a lot of picks. I agree with all the positions that they ended up grabbing, but I just feel like they could have maneuvered it better to get better players at certain spots. And overall, I gave the draft a B yesterday, and clearly this guy doesn't agree. Victory Lap giving it a C minus. It just depends on how they actually play, because you never know. You never really know how these guys are going to transfer into the NFL. They could be great. They could be terrible. You just have to wait and see. I'm very excited to see that. I really am. I really am. I agree. I think we missed on our running back and tight end. Very frustrating. Yeah, that tight end draft, or that pick in the 7th round. What was that? Is that a project, or is that somebody that they actually have high hopes in that he can go out there and produce something? I don't agree with the timing of it, and that's the thing. It's the timing of the draft picks. It's not the actual positions themselves. They got the right positions, but they didn't time it out right. They didn't grab the right position at the right time. And I don't know. Again, it could turn out to be a very, very good decision. Now, let's see. This defense going to cause havoc. I cannot wait to see this defense. I mean, they were already one of the best in the league, and all they've done is add. They barely did any subtracting. All that they've done is add and grow this defense. It's going to be a great defense next season. But that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow, recapping a big Nuggets game. We got to go out there and get this Game 5 win. I'm trusting in him. I think Nikola Jokic is going to go out there and just dominate the way that he has his whole career. And I guess we'll have to see tomorrow. I will be back with you guys at 9 a.m. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.